Alright, we're here with the educational porter video, and today we're going to be talking about splattering and how to practice it, and also go over what exactly is going on. So, splattering is a pour-over technique that allows you to extract coffee in a very slow, intense, and clean manner. This technique utilizes water droplets from your kettle, ranging between 0.5 to 0.8 grams of water, and it is splattered onto the coffee bed in order to saturate and bloom the grounds, prepping the coffee for your extraction pours. Now, the amount of extraction itself is dependent within grind sizes. If you grind too fine, you risk over extraction, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your coffee won't taste good. I had to learn the hard way, simply because for the first 2 months when I began extracting coffee, I used a relatively medium coarse grind size, but it was too fine, and I found out that I was over extracting coffee. So it's advised that you grind your coffee extremely coarse, as if you're making a French press, and for people who like microns and numbers, at around 800 to 1000 microns. Here you see me just practicing splattering into an empty dripper. This is all I did for 2 months. For 4 hours every single day in order to just get the hang of it. You really have to put yourself through the motions of this technique, and it'll just click. Obviously, experiment using your wrist and arm and many different motions. Here is Tommy's splattering. It's much more centered and slower, simply because his kettle is much heavier than mine, and his spout is much more angled, so he innately just has a lot more room for control. For me, it's more so just a lot of high sensitivity because my kettle is fairly light and my spout isn't as angled as his. So let's go over the principles that, this technique is stemming from. Most of it kind of just takes place within the bloom and extraction and grind size. So if you think about a standard pour-over technique that utilizes a fine grind size, the amount of time you dedicate towards the blooming phase ends up affecting how much coffee you're able to extract. So if you let a bloom pour just sit for like a whole minute or 2 minutes, the preceding pours will extract a lot more, simply because your coffee grounds are able to soak and marry with the water for a long period of time. If you apply that concept to a coarse grind size, right? We have to manipulate factors such as time and water in order to maximize the extraction of a coarse grind size. We're allowed to do this since the coarse coffee is able to soak up a lot of water, and so the water droplets coming out of the kettle are intense quantities and also manually controlled, which allows you to extract a nice clean cup with your preceding extraction pours. And also Tommy, old videos of Tommy, just going at it for competition. And this is his presentation, which I highly recommend you guys watching.
Let's share something secret with some simple physics. The first, the splattering is to prevent unnecessary bypass by using the surface tension of a small droplet of water. This raw water pass through the coffee naturally, without the pressure and weight. Just we use the gravity.
Did you finish, Sandra?
Yeah.
You want a little more?
I'll taste it. Is it different?
It's Tommy's coffee.
Put it in there.
Ooh, that's good.
And so, just to end off the video, this technique has been pioneered by Tommy, and he's been competing for many years, and recently has scored second at the US Brewers Cup. And much of his dedication and time and craftsmanship honed throughout his years of competing and sharing this technique is very admirable and has resonated with me heavily, which has innately led me to compete and share this technique with other people. Hopefully you guys can see the meaning and just effectiveness of just tradition and preserving something that might not be around for a certain amount of time. But aside from that, hopefully you guys learned something.